Guardians of Rome, the Vestal Virgins. In the heart of ancient Rome, where emperors ruled with iron fists and gladiators fought for their lives, there existed another kind of power, one silent, mysterious, and untouchable. Not in the Senate, not in the military, but in the shadows of the eternal flame. They were the Vestal Virgins, 6 women bound by an oath of chastity entrusted with the fate of Rome itself. They were neither wives nor mothers, yet they commanded the reverence of generals. They bore no weapons, yet their words could decide life and death. They lived in luxury, yet under a terrifying curse brake their vow, and the price was not exile, not disgrace, but death by live burial. Who were these women? And how did they become the most powerful and most feared figures in the Roman world? To understand their influence, we must go back nearly 3,000 years, to the very foundation of Rome. The legend tells us that the city's mythical founder, Romulus, was born of a Vestal Virgin Rhea Silvia, who was sworn to celibacy, but claimed she was seduced by the god Mars. For this supposed crime, she was imprisoned, and her twin sons Romulus and Remus were left to die. But fate had other plans. The twins survived, and Rome was born. From that moment, the Vestals were woven into the very fabric of the empire. Their duty? To maintain the sacred flame of Vesta, goddess of the hearth. As long as the flame burned, Rome would stand, but if it ever went out, disaster would follow. War, famine, collapse. The life of a Vestal was unlike any other in Rome. While most women were expected to marry young and remain under the authority of their fathers or husbands, the Vestals stood apart. Chosen as young girls between 6 and 10 years old, they were taken from their families and inducted into the priesthood, swearing 30 years of chastity. In return, they were granted freedoms unheard of for women of their time. They controlled their own wealth, owned property, and moved through the city unescorted. They sat in places of honor at the games. Even emperors respected their word. Yet, beneath the surface of their privilege lay a constant shadow. Any Vestal who broke her vow was sentenced to the most horrifying punishment Rome could devise: death by entombment. A crime against Vesta was a crime against Rome itself, and no blood could be spilled in punishing a sacred priestess. So instead, she was led in solemn procession through the streets, locked inside an underground chamber with a small amount of food and water, and left to die in darkness. It was a fate so terrible, so final, that even the whisper of scandal sent shivers through Rome. And yet, history tells us that several Vestals were condemned, accused of affairs with the most powerful men in Rome. Some were likely innocent, victims of political plots. Others? Perhaps they dared to test the boundaries of their influence. Because make no mistake, these women were powerful. When the Republic crumbled and Julius Caesar rose, the Vestals played a quiet but critical role in legitimizing the new order. When emperors sought divine favor, they turned to the Vestals. Their presence alone could pardon criminals. Their intervention could save a life. Even in a world dominated by men, they held the keys to Rome's survival. But power is fragile, and even the untouchable can fall. As Rome's fate shifted, so did the Vestals. By the 4th century AD, Christianity was sweeping through the empire, and the old gods were fading. The sacred flame flickered for the last time in 394 AD, when Emperor Theodosius I, in his quest to stamp out paganism, ordered the dissolution of the Vestal order. And just like that, the most influential women in Rome's history vanished into obscurity. But their legacy? It lingers. In the myths of Rome, in the stories of women who wielded influence in a world that sought to silence them, and in the ever-burning idea that power, true power, comes not from the sword nor the throne, but from the unwavering belief in one's own role in shaping the world. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, hit that like button, subscribe for more untold history, and let us know in the comments, who were history's most powerful women? We'll see you in the next deep dive into the past.